Welcome to another review of a product. Now, I was contacted by BenQ over email if I wanted to review their BenQ ideaCam S1. And I had to ask just an extra time to be sure it wasn't some sort of hoax or phishing email or something, because normally I don't get that many requests, but this time it was actually true. So they sent me this. So the camera has auto switch mode, which makes it switch from one angle to another once you flip it down, so it looks like it's my point of view and not your point of view. It has 3 camera modes. It has AI noise reduction. It goes with a 2448p, which is a bit different than a lot of normal cameras have, which makes the ratio a bit odd. 8 megapixel Sony CMOS, 15 times magnifying lens, remote controller, which only works in their own software, and privacy shade. Not bad. This is how the box looks like. So first off, we remove the plastic, and then I will take a peek of what is actually inside the box. We got the typical manual and setup guides. We got this foamy kind of stuff to protect it. Quick start guide, a small folder of their Inspire software, which I will not be using. And then here's the goodies. So let's start off with the camera itself. It's firmly protected with a screen protector, and here we have the buttons for turning it off and the small ring light that it actually has. We have the hole in the bottom to mount it on the mounts and a braided USB cable. Then we have the shade for the lens when it's not in use. We have the magnifying glass for doing very highly detailed recordings. The monitor mount, which is actually pretty sturdy and heavy. That's a nice quality item there. And so is the remote. Very nicely done. I will get into the downside on that one later. And it comes with the USB connector. And lastly, it has a couple of batteries from Toshiba. So the camera itself is actually very simple to set up on the monitor with the following mount. It's just like it has this magnetic connector. You put it in and that's it. Then you can move it around as you want and put on the privacy cap. Now there is one thing I would like to point out with the camera itself, is that the cable does not disconnect from the camera. That can be a slight issue if you want to move the camera further away than the length of the cable actually allows you to do. So that could be an option for BenQ in their next version, to make sure that you can actually buy an extra long cable if you need to have, like I have a 3 monitor setup, and it just doesn't work very well if I can't move it over to the last monitor because my PC is all the way over here. So just an idea, BenQ. The light itself on the camera is just a small ring light that actually does not emit enough light for you to use it for filming yourself, but it will be working very well with the magnifying glass. Now you simply just put the magnifying glass on with a magnetic connector, turn on the ring light, and let me show you some awesome stuff. So let's see what it can actually do in real life here. I'm gonna grab the BenQ ideaCam here, and as you can see, this tiny button up here will turn on the ring lights. It doesn't have that much power, so it's mainly for uses with the magnifying glass, which is here. So we can start with showing the picture from the BenQ here without the magnifying glass, and then we put on the magnifying glass. Here you can actually see my hand, which is not so exciting. Something as boring as the mouse mat. Ew, you can actually see stuff here. Let's try my Focusrite, which is the one that controls my microphone. Now you can actually see the paint itself, how it's been painted on. It's actually pretty awesome and pretty clear and crisp, that picture. So I will say that the magnifying glass does its job. If you're doing something like PCB boards, you know, electronics, or highly detailed paintings, or whatever you would need to show off with this tiny magnifying glass, it actually works with an iPhone as well. I just tried it for the fun of it. It just doesn't really connect to the camera on the iPhone, but it's a fun little thing. Now, for the quality of the camera itself, it kind of disappoints, I think. This I'm sitting at now is the Elgato Facecam Pro, and here we have a Logitech, and here we have the BenQ. Now you will see my face is kind of big and stuff because it's zoomed in a lot, but that's due to the fact that the resolution is different on this camera. But the feature I wanted to show with the BenQ ideaCam here is actually when you flip it down on the desk, it automatically flips the picture. So if I was to build a Gundam kit here, then it would look like it was from my point of view. Now you could of course adjust the picture itself so it comes closer or the angle becomes different. And as soon as you flip it back up, it actually turns the picture in the right direction, or what you should call it again. So that's also a neat feature if you want it. I think you could actually make it not do that, but I kind of like it. I could always try on a live stream to see if people like to see it from my point of view or their own point of view. The remote, the puck remote, is actually of awesome quality with a rubber bottom, so it stands firmly on your desktop. It has this cool wheel that you can actually see is doing its job on the indicator here. Very nice feeling to it, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it, but it seems like it only works inside their own piece of software, and that is crap. I mean, I would love to be live streaming with this one and being able to use all the features that this puck here does, but since I will not use their software, it's just a waste. It's gonna take up space on my desktop. The batteries are inside here. You just flip out the bottom here, which is also magnetic, so they have a lot of magnetic features, which is pretty cool. But you have to redo that BenQ. That was disappointing, because this is heavy, nice quality, and it reminds me a lot of the one I have seen with their Halo bar. I don't have the Halo bar. I actually think that would have been an awesome product to review for me as well, since a lot of our building is in front of a computer, so we could actually use the light on the desktop. But this one, too bad, really. So my final thoughts on the BenQ is actually it's a pretty good camera. Now, one thing I left out is the Inspire software, because first off, the link on the top of Google was not working, 404 error, and when I get in through another page, it says it's not available in my location. So not that super interesting for me, even though BenQ really wanted me to cover that up. Not gonna do that. But the quality of the camera itself is like, this is what you get compared to the other cameras, and it's definitely not as crisp and sharp as the other ones. For filming down on a desktop, I think it will do a fine enough job, especially when you're filming with a magnifying glass. It is awesome. For my setup, it's a third camera, so for me, it will do the job. The ring light is a good idea, but as I stated, it only works well with the magnifying glass. There's simply just not enough light on it to make any difference at all. The puck remote seems awesome, but it lacks the functionality in all other apps like the OBS or whatever you could use it for. The braided cable, as I said before, could have had a connector in the camera, but that's not a deal breaker for me because the cable is just long enough for my setup, but my setup could have been, now where my computer is right here to the right of me, it could have been on the floor, and then it would have been a problem. So that's just my few cents on that one. I will be using the camera for my building processes, and I will ask on my live streams on what people think of the whole flip thing that it does. I actually think it seems okay. Besides that, that is more or less what I had for this camera. I mean, it's not the best quality when you compare the price to the two other cameras and that I use, and I don't even have like a real camera. I only use web cameras as long as my setup and my channel is not bigger than it is. But it does the job. If it's something for you, I will let you decide that. There is some other alternatives for that in that price range, but if it can do the exact same things as this one, I'm not quite sure. So it has some neat features that my other cameras can't do, and that's also why I said yes to making this review, because I can actually make good use of the BenQ ideaCam. Does it appeal to my fellow builders out there? It might, due to the fact that you can actually, if you're doing, what do I know, a lot of painting, detailing, want to show off something that's hard to see on normal webcams with the magnifying feature, then it will definitely do a good job. Probably for the fun of it, maybe take a look at some of our water slide decals that are so small that it's hard to read with the magnifying glass to see if the prints are actually okay or if it's just like as bad as it looks. But that's it for now. I hope you like this review. It is my third review, and I have one more that I will be making very soon, as long as I get settled after the vacation and stuff and the flood. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Take care.